All right, let's dive right in. Why is it that some training sessions feel like a total game changer, sticking with you for years, while others, well, they're gone by the time you have your next cup of coffee? We're about to figure out what really makes the difference.
You know the feeling, right? We've all been there. You spend a full day in a workshop, you're taking notes, you're nodding along, but the next morning, it's like a fog has rolled in. It's not just frustrating, it's a huge waste of everyone's time and energy.
But here's the secret. The problem usually isn't you, and it's probably not even the topic itself. The real culprit, almost every single time, is how that information was delivered. Nailing the delivery is the secret sauce to making learning actually stick.
So that brings us to a really important idea. Choosing how you're going to teach something isn't just about logistics. It's not about booking a room or sending a calendar invite. It is a massive strategic decision that can literally make or break the entire experience.
So, where do you even start? Well, you've got to weigh a few key things. What are you teaching? Is it a complex technical skill or something more about communication? How much time and, let's be real, money do you have? And maybe most importantly, how much do you need people to interact with each other in the material to really get it?
Thinking through those questions is what helps you pick the perfect tool from what is now a huge and frankly pretty cool training toolkit. So let's take a quick tour of some of the options we have today.
And wow, look at this range. We've come a long way from just the standard classroom lecture. You can basically group these tools into 3 buckets. You've got your live and interactive stuff, your flexible on-demand content that people can access anytime, and then the really hands-on social approaches. Let's zoom in on a couple of these.
So in the on-demand world, think about the difference between e-learning and micro-learning. E-learning is like your full-course meal. It's the deep dive that builds that foundational knowledge from the ground up. Micro-learning, that's your shot of espresso. It's that quick, 2-minute video you pull up on your phone to solve one specific problem, right here, right now.
Now what about live learning? A modified instructor-led training is all about getting people talking, using breakout groups to collaborate and hash out ideas. But a simulation, that is all about doing. You're dropped into a realistic scenario where you get to practice a new skill without any real-world consequences. It's a totally safe space to fail and try again. One builds understanding through conversation, the other builds skills through pure practice.
And then there's this powerhouse model, train the trainer. This is so smart. Instead of one person or team trying to teach everyone, you find the experts you already have inside your organization and you teach them how to be great trainers. It creates this incredible cascade of knowledge that spreads organically.
And why does this work so well? I mean, sure, it's cost-effective, but the real magic is in the relevance. Internal trainers get the context, they know the real-world problems, and the learning feels so much more authentic when it's coming from a trusted colleague who has literally been in your shoes. This is how you build a real learning culture from the inside out.
Okay, so we've got the tools, but the best toolkit on earth doesn't mean a thing if you don't understand who you're building for. And that brings us to the next piece of this puzzle, the learner themselves.
You know, we all have our preferences for how we like to take in information. Some of us really need to see it laid out in a diagram. Others need to hear it explained out loud. And some of us, well, we just need to get our hands dirty and figure it out by doing.
A really popular way to think about this is the VARK model. It breaks it down into 4 main types: visual, auditory, read/write, and kinesthetic, which is basically just a fancy word for learning by doing. Just looking at this, you can immediately see why a one-size-fits-all lecture is doomed to fail for a lot of people in the room.
But here is the most critical thing to remember about learning styles. The goal is absolutely not to stick people in boxes and say, oh, you're a visual learner. No way. The true power of a model like this is to remind us as designers and teachers to build variety into everything we do, so there's a pathway for everyone to connect with the material.
Which brings us to the grand finale. How do we take all these amazing tools, combine them with this understanding of our learners, and create something that actually works? The answer, my friends, is the blend.
Blended learning isn't just about throwing a video and a workshop together and calling it a day. It's about being strategic. It's about designing a thoughtful learning journey where every single piece has a purpose, creating a total experience that is so much more powerful than any one part on its own.
So what could that actually look like? Well, maybe you start by learning the core ideas on your own time with a self-paced e-learning module. Then you all come together for a live virtual session to really discuss, debate, and apply what you learned. But it doesn't stop there. To make it stick, you get short, bite-sized videos sent to you over the next few weeks to reinforce those key takeaways. See how it all connects?
So, what is the single biggest idea to take away from all of this? It's that all of these things, the e-learning, the simulations, the live sessions, they're all just ingredients. The real secret, the key to making learning stick, isn't finding the one perfect method. It's creating the one right blend for your specific goal and your specific audience.
And that leaves us with one final question to chew on. The next time you set out to teach something or even learn something new yourself, just ask, are you designing a lecture that's just about transferring information, or are you crafting an experience that people will never forget?